Hello, Santosha Tantra.
Hi, Theo.
Thank you for allowing me to interview you today.
Should be fun.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay.
Did your awakening fit Adida's description of the listening hearing process or the conscious process?
I don't know really how to answer that because I don't really have all the technical descriptions.
After your awakening in 1985, did you have any lapses?
No.
So you've had a perfect, continuous awakening since then? That's amazing. It's wonderful.
The work of the conscious process of undoing all the obstructions in the body-mind vehicle was completed in December of 1985, so there was no more work of that to be done. Yeah. So I would test, like I said last night, I would test it every day to see if there's any place where I needed to continue with the conscious meditation process or any obstruction in life that would make me fall back into searching, and it never occurred after that.
Can you describe more about the conscious process in your terms, what that is for you? What were you investigating? What were you feeling?
Well, I could use some Adida's language or a combination of my own language. Yeah. As I said, in my process, whenever I was going through a certain aspect of self-discovery, I would later read what had gone through in his teaching. So it was never, the teaching never came before, it always came after my experience. So then it always verified my experience. Right. So that's how it worked for me. That was many years ago, and in my early 30s and 20s. But basically it was the knowing through the conscious process and the transmission, purification work, that I was already who I am. Yeah. That there was no place to get to, nothing to achieve, nothing to do other than let the purification process undo all the mind and obstructions that were going on up to that point. And that's what it would just continue. It was a very natural process. I experienced a lot of transmission experiences, both of Narakapa Samadhi, the heart on the right. A lot of that happened at a very specific period of time, maybe about a year and a half. Then when that completed itself in the final experience I had, which was, which I think I describe in the book, which in a field of just white light, and there appears, which I always thought was very strange, TV screens. And now I know why, because this is the age of, we're all informed by TV, who we are. And it appeared that, and when I looked at it, there was no story being told. And there was no story of my own being told. It was just white light encased in the screen. And at that point I said, why does it have to be encased at all? Yeah. Why is this necessary? And I knew it wasn't necessary. And that was the final awakening, that simple inquiry.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's like the TV dissolving was the final awakening.
Well, the TV didn't actually dissolve my inquiry. My understanding was that because we are contained as body-minds, that has no obstruction to white light realization, to who we are. Yeah. So after that, I would test it, my understanding and my life, and I didn't feel a need to meditate after that. I did japa of Adida's name frequently, but I didn't need to formally meditate. In fact, it just felt like, it's like doing the hike you already did. Yeah. You know, it's like, why do this anymore?
So you did not need to formally meditate?
No, I didn't really meditate after that. I did japa at times, but I didn't formally meditate. And Adida gave me many signs to me that my work was to begin, that I should start teaching through many dreams. And he kept insisting on it, and I wasn't really inclined towards it.
Why?
Why I wasn't inclined towards it?
Yeah.
Because during my sadhana years, I would always, I had always a small circle of friends. I would always help them, instruct them, and I didn't see any real potentiality to really understand what I was offering. So.
Well, that's one of my next questions is, how effective has your teaching been?
I think my students can answer that part. I always forget about what I'm doing. You know, like I come in, oh, I did all this, okay. I look at my house, I just forget it. I'm just on to doing the next enjoyment of my expression. So I always forget it. I'm hopeful that people have benefited.
My goodness. Yes.
They always tell me they have, and they're happy for it. I don't think there's any way to judge anybody's influence on anybody.
Well,
the only one way I have is if people are happy by my support of their endeavor, they're happy with my love for them, then I think I'm okay. They're happy about it. So.
Do you want them to wake up from their ego self-contraction?
Oh yeah. I wish they did it yesterday, but you know.
I mean, is that the main goal of your teaching?
Of course.
Yeah.
But I don't think of myself as a teacher.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, what about that? I mean, are you a guru? Do you want to be a guru? Do you want to have an independent religion constructed around you in the future?
No.
No.
I'm the Durga.
So you don't want to
Durga is free of all forms.
So you don't want to have a big institution or religion erected around you?
No.
What about people making a cult about you?
Good luck. I don't think you'll be able to succeed.
Okay.
Unless you want to hug my Whitney with me. No, I don't think it's possible. I think the teachers that did it that way needed to do it that way, but the Durga aspect is independent of all that, so I'm not creating a similar hierarchy situation, you know, to that anybody who has sincere impulse can come Friday night. There's no requirement, nothing. You just come, meditate, and go home, and it's up to you. I don't really need... See, I just think everybody... I've tried to give everyone a forum. I've worked that way, and I don't think it works. If your own intelligence doesn't tell you what to do in your life, you know, you're not going to really be able to practice deep forms of inquiry. If you can make sense of how to be intelligent about your own life, that you need to go to a group and they have to monitor it all for you.
Yeah.
I don't really believe in that. I'm an artist type, so, you know, artists don't like that kind of thing.
Well, Adida is an artist also.
Yeah.
And he seemed to...
And he didn't live that way, but he made everybody else live that way. He did whatever he wanted.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah. It didn't work for him either. So. No, I tried all different versions of teaching. Would I say I'm not a guru? No, I'm a guru, but I'm a new kind of guru. I'm the Durga guru.
You're the Durga guru.
Yes, which is a new kind of guru.
What is the Durga guru?
Well, the Durga guru is here to show non-cooperation with ego. That's simple. And to make and serve each other and share each other with love and happiness. And that's it. And that's a creative process, not a set routine or ritual.
It's a creative process.
It's a creative process. That's what I see. So it's up to you to figure out how to do it. It's up to you to have the passion for your own enlightenment to figure out how to do this. You have different role models of different teachers, including myself, and you also have your own passion. So how are you going to create it? I always say you have to create your own awakening.
You have to create your own awakening.
Yeah. You have to dream it. So most people feel like, oh, I can't even, how can I get enlightened? I'm just a guy who worked at the factory.
Well, that was my thinking too. I was thinking, I thought it's inevitable, I will be enlightened, but it's too good to be true in this lifetime, or it's unattainable somehow. And so how do we get over that
psychology?
That limiting thought about enlightenment?
Yeah. Well, it seems like all the stories and all the teachings of enlightenment didn't help anyone to overcome that limited idea. So you have to throw some of that out. Why don't people have self-confidence in their own enlightenment?
I think in most cases they're not told that it's possible yet.
So each realizer that comes is that possibility, and they're the sign of that possibility. And they might seem strange, but you don't have to copy their strangeness to to be awake. You have to have your own. See? So if
Yeah.
you say, well, they do this and they do that, so I should do that if I want to be enlightened.
Well, that seems like an important message for now, that you don't have to necessarily be attached to a specific tradition to be enlightened, but you're creating your own awakening. That's pretty radical.
I would say so, yeah. But I was always radical as a younger person, and now I'm more radical.
And now you're more radical than ever.
Radical. No, because you know, I've studied a lot of different teachers and teachings, including Adidas, Mayor Baba's, and I just said, oh, I have to find my own way with this because I don't agree with everything. But I don't agree with that in a hostile way, like I'm mad about it. I just can't be that.
Well, it seems like you have space for critical distance from everything.
Yeah.
Every tradition.
Because I had to generate my own life. I didn't go to a tradition and was supported in it.
Right.
I had to just keep generating it. And when I was in Pennsylvania and I found my original devotees, I just said, okay, what do you want to do? And they were, I think we started that same belief. Like, I'm a woman, I can't possibly get enlightened.
That's it.
Yeah, and so we started there.
Yeah.
So we said, let's check that out. And we considered that. I was always using a path of experiment, creativity, and discrimination.
Lots of love.
So it wasn't a lot of form and ritual, ever. I don't think we ever really had form and ritual.
We tried once in a while, but
No, nobody ever would take to it. I didn't like it myself. So.
Would the Durga Guru ever want written vows from her devotees?
No.
Okay.
If anybody, what I would be happy with, if anybody can live what I've lived and sustained my own passion and had the strength to do it, that's what I want each person to be able to do.
To emulate your
ability to sustain your own passion, have the strength to go forward with it. So if I can ignite passion or strength and show you how to have strength, then I'm happy with that. That's what I want to accomplish.
I think some people think that to go beyond your ego is not to be all about passion and strength. And
I know.
how do you reconcile this going beyond ego and still having this gutsiness, this passion?
Because we're women, so we're different. Our gutsiness and strength is different than men's ego, strength, and gutsiness. So we've always been on a, you know, you're struggling with your own capacity to feel that psychologically enlightenment is for you. Well, just imagine what it is for women. You know, they're not even shown up in any of the great traditions. They're not even seen as real devotees in the great tradition or great realizers. There's been a few random, like renegades, but basically you don't see that. And, you know, so if you don't see that story being told, then having strength and passion is really necessary for you to overcome the original block.
Yes, yes.
And to continue, because you're going to have your own life to do this, not join your life to somebody else to do this. You're going to, and to generate your own life, yeah, that requires passion and strength. And really, even anybody in a spiritual community, I don't think strength and passion are related to ego at all.
Oh.
At all, I don't.
That's a hard one for some people, I think.
Yeah, because that's the male aspect. That's how males understand things. But that's not how women do.
Okay.
We want to have our passion lived and expressed, and we want to have the strength to be able to live a life of true cooperation and sharing. Not a life of hierarchy and gets to be on the top, but that life.
Right.
And we never found a way to do it yet in the history. Yeah.
Well, it seems that Rama also was concerned about enlightenment for women. And it seems that in spite of many of Adida's efforts to get his female followers enlightened, that there's been still great difficulty in women becoming enlightened. But because of your example, it seems there's been a breakthrough in the West.
Yeah.
Now we have your example of a woman in the West being our 7-stage realizer.
And I think it was very important that I was independent, don't you?
Yes.
Yes, very important.
Yes, and I think I'm thriving off of your independence because I have to do some similar things in my life to keep my art straight with my message and not compromise.
So the feminine aspect of you gets up.
Yes.
Oh, because in the male, the sense of being able to have the passion to be cooperative and share and have the ability to love and make others happy with love is in each man, but that feminine aspect doesn't get to be seen as spiritual or necessary or used.
Except in rock and roll.
Yeah.
Where there's a possibility of that Dionysian male,
Mm-hmm.
or what I call a nurturing male,
Mm-hmm.
to be expressed and still be kind of dominant.
Well, that's what's cool about the arts, because you can express the different aspects, the male and the female, in your creative expression.
Yeah.
And people want it because they need to hear about it, and they need to. For me, the arts is a way to show the true self and express it as a living being, not an ideal, but a living being, and that people kind of know what's in their hearts, but they can't get to it, and they can't. And they have all these psychological barriers that won't let them get to it. So then, when you a lot of times you can't feel something, and you hear a song and it lets you feel it,
Right.
and or see a picture or dance or whatever, or a movie. It helps you to process what your heart feels. And,
Yes.
And it's a very wonderful thing, and that's why I use artistic medium
Mm-hmm.
and have that life. Yeah. So yeah, I'm a different imprint, a different kind of person, a different kind of realizer, a different kind of life, and I hope this gives the potentiality that the different types of people can draw strength and passion from. Okay, she was different.
Yeah.
I went to see Georgia O'Keeffe's place and studio.
Abiquiu?
Yeah, I went there, and I really enjoyed doing that. And I've read about her and saw her art, and I just felt about her. She was an icon for the generations near her and afterwards. Here's a woman that had passion for her place, her time, for art, and she generated a life that was uniquely her own. And she became a very important icon for people to do that, and particularly women who felt, I can't do this. Mm-hmm. There's no permission, and there'll be no recognition for it. So she did it, and then when she got the recognition, she's like, well, why is everybody coming to me? I don't know, look at my art. And say she didn't quite understand it.
Right.
Yeah, but I said, well, to me that she became an iconic archetype, and I said, okay, that's what's happening in my life, the same thing, in a different way, but that's what's happening.
Well, that you mentioned Georgia O'Keeffe, it really resounds with me. I can almost feel her spirit near you, like you two together, you're classic American icons. Mm-hmm. It just suddenly goes aha to me. Yeah. She is an independent artist. Yeah. She's the ultimate female independent artist.
Mm-hmm. It was wonderful to be in her place and her studio, and I could feel her energy there, and her love for art, and her love for her life and the nature there. And I said, yeah, that's how she did it. But it was through her passion and her strength that she generated that life.
Totally, you can feel that from her. I mean, that strength. Integrity, uncompromising qualities.
It was a very good character. So that was, it just gave me a perspective to look at how my life's gone and how it hasn't fit in the great tradition or the tradition or my guru's life or their forum or how other people are going out and doing their life of a teacher, how it doesn't fit. And I met different teachers over the years, and they would say, you should do what I'm doing. I'm so glad I didn't. Because I got to be to live my passion and strength and my ideal, and to be awake in this time, to uniquely be someone who's able to live happily and express that happiness and live a unique life of that. I don't really see that in other people.
Right.
So I think, wow, we couldn't have worked out any better than this, but I had to do it independently through my passion and strength. And like you said, there's certain psychological barriers of why you feel like your work's not succeeding and why you don't deserve for it to succeed. And that's what you have to overcome. Right. And you get to the point, well, nobody cares, so why bother, right?
Yes.
Yes. But it's going to transform you if you bother. And let whoever responds to it respond. or doesn't. Doesn't matter. But if you're changed by the struggle, you know, that's going to be pretty awesome for you. See? So don't worry about the other part of it. Just worry about getting up that, you know, keeping your passion, your heart open to it. Don't let your passion be cooled. You know, don't let it get dismantled. Let it do whatever it does and whatever it takes to keep it alive. And believe in it. Believe in yourself, in it. And you will find the opportunities and the strength continue. And sometimes our work is not recognized in this life. It might be recognized in another life. But we will be made happy by that effort and sacrifice. So your happiness will still be there. It doesn't really come from the acceptance of other people. So if anybody around me says it's really been wonderful having life with you, I go, oh, really? Okay. So my happiness doesn't depend on the success. They see me as a success. It depends on that they're happy with their life. And if they're happy and I've been part of that, then I'm like, awesome. You know? Like I said, I look at my art sometimes and I go, oh, I did that. I really like that one.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I own anything. I don't feel like I'm possessing anything and I have to bring it all with me.
Or that it's a burden for you?
Yeah, no, I don't feel that.
Is your work a burden for you?
No, no. It's just pure joy.
That is truly amazing.
I know, isn't it?
That's truly astounding.
And I got this in the last, I think, 3 years I got here. Up to that point, there was different struggles. But now, I know that my independence and my passion and what I've given, what I've done, and what I continue to do is an awesome thing. And I don't have any, like, what are you doing? You know, nobody seems to respond. It's not based on that. In fact, I think you will probably, if we outlive ourselves, which we can't, see a lot of changes. I think the future of humankind will be really different. So different. You know, we have to have new imprints to dream it. New people will come and have new imprints. And it will be about cooperation. And it will be about the awakening process.
Can you tell us your vision of humanity in the future on Earth? You said something about like an egoless culture. What's that?
What, egoless culture? Well, it's when the feminine and the masculine are one's not dominating the other, and it's not there. It's not like an equality. It's an actuality of real relationship. So when you're in a real relationship, you don't see someone as equal. You don't see someone as dominant.
Yes, yes.
You don't have any terms like that at all. You just see each other as means to share love, to share light, and the sign of your success is that each person is happy with you. They feel happiness from you. Yeah. Vice versa. So that kind of a life where people all sharing all the resources. Imagine that.
I think John Lennon's song about that.
Yeah. So people have imprints of that, but they, somewhere along the line, they weren't able to manifest that passion and strength in their own life to continue with it. But everybody's, you know, going to continue with it. It's going to keep going on. You always can dream the best. You don't have to just, you know, like, just dream and settle. You always dream the best and put your passion in it. And like I said, your work will be verified for yourself. You will be happy. And if it has great effect, you know, it will. But you won't get to see it all. No one can have enough time here to see everything
that they accomplished.
Yeah, you can't see it. So. That's why in Georgia Keith's later years, and people came to her and said, "You're such an icon. You helped me so much.
Yeah.
You overcome these psychological limits." And she said, "I don't really understand what you're talking about." And I just did my art. And they said, "That's it. You just did your art." You know how hard it is just to do your art.
I know how hard it is.
Yeah. But it wasn't hard for her because that's what's the life she was generating for herself. So, but there are a lot of people like that. It's just hard to get to the thing they value the most. Which is either your enlightenment or the greatest love you can be.
Yeah.
You know, the greatest happiness you can feel.
Yeah.
Everybody settles.
Not me.
Yeah. Good. That's good. Never settle. Always dream the biggest dream. And of course, what is the biggest dream? Your awakening, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I had 3. To be a rock star, to save the world, and be enlightened.
Okay. Well, you got a lot of work to do then. Let's see. To give love as everyone would really love to have it, and to be loved the way I ought to be loved. Do lots of art on the way, have a lot of fun. Enjoy what's here. Enjoy what's here, because this is an amazing dream right now. The most amazing creative people are alive now.
Really?
Mm-hmm. This is like the dark time, but the craziest, wildest time of creative possibility. It's both.
I heard that you kind of like being alive now, or that this time.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live another time. Look at it. I mean, a little thing this big, you can have 3,000 songs on it and talk to anybody in the world.
Yes.
Isn't that amazing?
It's great. I love it.
We never had this stuff when we were kids.
Yes, that's right.
We didn't have this in the other incarnations. This is amazing.
No, it's wonderful. It's great.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. You know, so. And if as a woman, if I went back in any other time, there'd be so much, you know, permission to even generate my own life I would have to get.
Right,
It'd just
right.
be terrible.
It would be terrible.
It would be
impossible.
terrible. Yeah, and it is like that for some women still alive
Today,
but where I'm living and what I'm doing, no. Yeah, I can do it. So that's amazing.
So some people talk about an emerging age of the divine feminine. What would you say about that?
About time, don't you think?
Is it happening, and what's your role in that?
I think I'm just like the archetype, just the beginning. You know.
You're the beginning.
I'm the beginning. Yeah.
Are you the form of Durga on Earth? Is there going to be any others, or should we really just accept you as?
No, I'm not a non-exclusive. If anybody else wants to be the Durga, please.
Oh.
No, these are archetypes.
Oh.
So anybody can live an archetype.
Oh.
But you will have the imprint for it, though. You will.
You have to have some degree of imprinting for that.
Yeah. You have to have imprinting for it, and your impulse and attraction has to be there for it. So everybody has a different kind of archetype or role they're going to play. You know, that's why they developed all the gods and goddesses, because that was like each person here will feel connected to a certain one, a certain kind of qualities and a certain kind of work, a certain kind of job, or a certain kind of passion to play out, and that would be your archetype.
Right.
See? And you might have more than one. So yeah, anybody can be Durga. But like I said last night, everybody can understand what enlightenment is and experience and be already happy, but it has to get bigger and bigger. So it changes everything for you all the time. You're always living as that archetype, you know. So you're always being already happy, and no matter what life brings you, it doesn't diminish who you are and the bliss of being that you are. And that quality of it gets bigger and bigger, so it affects other people to feel that, oh yes, I'm already happy too. And I am my archetype. And everybody kind of figures out what your archetype is, you know, the gods and goddesses. Those stories are all really fun, because they're all the possibility of the best dreaming that people can have.
Yes.
You know, and that's why people like them, you know. You know, and for me, Durga seemed really strange, but it was an imprint and attraction for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it began to account for why my life was not in a traditional model for a spiritual aspirant, and why I went that way, and why I had a lot of deep internal relationships with different teachers, you know, but I didn't actually get to be with any of them. And it explained a lot for me, and it didn't discourage me. You know, it gave me the strength to say, okay, it's all right. I was already free, so what was the problem? I just had to live here now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There wasn't a problem with a dilemma of my own making. It was just now, okay, I'm free. How do I live here? And I always tell the story. I was in Pennsylvania and I got on the bus, and it wasn't maybe like 3 or 4 months after my awakening, and I looked at everybody on the bus, and they were all kind of miserable and sad, and I said, all right. And I just felt so happy. I just felt so happy it wasn't them.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
I said, wow, what? You know, it's just because I loved my freedom and I loved happiness.
Yes.
I loved it. You know, like I said, I dreamed it.
And you valued it.
And I valued it. And anybody at any moment can just drop everything and go, oh, everything's really okay. But to the degree of how you get to live the happiness of that understanding is so minor. You only take it out when things are really either really bad.
Yeah.
You don't take it out all day long. And if you took it out all day long, you'd be like, just really happy all the time. And sometimes I'm like, I don't realize how happy I am until I'm around somebody and I go, ooh, okay, tone it down a bit, you're too happy.
Right.
And that's what teaching was like. Tone it down, because no one's really happy. And they're really believe in their misery, and they really have created an ideal of what some god or goddess who's really miserable, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're really good at it, and
yeah.
I would just, and so in having a compassionate, empathetic relationship with people, I would get down there with them and see what it was, how to help them there. But at many years of teaching, I just said, "Oh, don't go there anymore."
Yeah.
It's just that. Yeah. Just be happy. Be that living example of that.
So don't necessarily submit.
Don't have empathy to that degree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Because everybody has to be on their journey, and nothing's stopping anybody. You have to learn the lessons of how to use your strength, your capabilities, your intelligence. You have to set up your own life instead of. I don't believe in giving people forms because they'll just rebel against them and break them, even if they're good for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm like, I never thought of myself this way, but I'm like the most liberal parent ever.
No, I think that about you sometimes.
But if you ask my kids, was she really liberal? They probably wouldn't say yes.
Of course. Yeah.
They said she was very loving, and we always wanted to be.
But not lackadaisical necessarily.
No, they had to get their homework done,
yeah.
and all that stuff. And, yeah. But now I feel like I'm talking to adults here, not children. So if someone comes and they're 25, 35, and I say, well, here's the form you have to follow, I don't really feel right about that. I feel like everybody should know what food is good for them to eat, how much sleep they need, how to sustain themselves. That if you haven't figured that out yet, we'll start figuring it out, because you're going to have to. It's still always going to be up to you, nobody else. No form is going to dictate, what's right for you. It's not going to work. It has to be your own idea. That's what I've seen.
So you're really asking people to be creative?
Or just intelligence about patterns in your life. So, yeah, whatever that is. So I don't say I recommend this diet. If you don't know what food works for you and you're 25, 35, or 45, well, find out now. It's interesting. Yeah. It's your life. Don't you want to know what foods work for you? If you say, well, I'm just doing this diet because my guru said and I want to be spiritual, it's not going to work out that way. You're still going to get the effect of whatever food's working or not working for you. You have to figure it out. You have to take responsibility for your finances, for everything you're doing, because you're going to suffer all the karma, whatever you do that doesn't work out well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can say, well, I'm following my guru's instructions. Why isn't it working out well? It's up to you. It's always up to you. So what good is a guru for, right?
Well, for me, it was to always put my attention on him.
Yeah.
Which I had to do, right?
Yeah. It's, the Murti, I always meditated on my guru's pictures too.
Yeah.
But at a certain point I didn't, but mostly I did. And I did japa of Adidava's name for like 5 years after I was realized. I was still doing it all day long. And then one point I said, I don't think I really need to do this anymore. It just occurred to me not to do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, do I ever do it? Yeah, I still do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And of your own name too?
sometimes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'll sometimes just say I'm always already happy. I say that simply.
Well, isn't that the nature of the Santosha archetype that Adida found originally when he found that the statue of Santosha style of the goddess? That she's a new sign?
Yeah, that's what I heard, yeah.
Something new in the world.
Yeah.
The sense of fullness and sufficiency and such perfect fullness that there's really no search.
Yeah. So I don't know if my archetype or the way I am helps you or others, but
well, I wanted to say that if it weren't for you, we wouldn't necessarily have a way of saying that Adida was successful.
Oh, okay.
That now I feel like, well, you're his first big success.
Mm-hmm.
You're a realized being who followed him, love him.
I didn't follow him. I came in with him.
Oh. You did not follow him.
No.
Can you say more about how you came in with him?
How did I come in with him? He came in with a certain job to do. And I came in agreeing to do my part of the job is the feminine aspect. To be able to deal that the feminine was really suppressed, so therefore had no voice. And there was a complete bias against that voice because it had no voice. When there's no one to speak up for someone, then that point of view is never heard and it's never considered. So I had to come with him to be that view. So I was never following him. I was always here to say this be this archetype, to have this point of view, to say what I had to say. I had a dream, vision dream, and when I met Upasani.
Yeah, Upasani Baba.
Yeah, and he was sitting on a wall, and I went to him and I said, "Could I sit with you?" And he said, "No," and he started screaming and abusing everybody, and that was his nature. But I just went and sat next to him, and I just sat there and sat there, and then he looked at me and gave me this most beautiful smile, and said, "I have a gift for you," and I was very happy. And he gave me this bush, and it was a rose bush, and it had a red rose and a purple rose, and he said, "Please plant this in your yard." So my yard meant my life, right? So I planted it in my yard, and then in the vision, I wake up the next day, and the two flowers, the red rose and the purple rose, have fallen off. And for many years, I didn't know what that vision meant. And then one day, it revealed itself to me that the red rose was Mayor Baba's life and work, and which Adida's life was a continuation of.
Right.
And then the purple rose was Adida's life. That they both fell off in my yard from the bush Upasani gave me was a sign that I was and that I was happy, not sad from it, was that I was the contribution of that, the giver of that, and the one that would live past that.
Right.
So instead of being sad that I would live past their life and work,
yeah,
I was very happy because they gave me each the flower of their life and work. So that doesn't sound like a follower, does it? No. So different. So there were different recognitions and different visions I've had over the years. That some of them took many years to understand. I had to live through a lot and develop my own capacity as the Durga archetype, and some of them I knew right away what they meant. All right, any other questions?
Let me check real quickly here. Oh, do you want to become a formal devotee in Adidam?
I don't see any reason for that.
Okay.
It's not like they're asking me, are they?
What if I could swing an invitation? Because potentially...
They can all come to my Friday night meditation.
Okay.
They're all welcome.
Okay.
They don't have to eat a special diet. They don't have to do anything. Just come, sit.
Because if you did work your way up the ranks in Adidam, you could become part of the Ruchira Sannyasin order eventually.
Oh, that sounds very boring. And uptight.
Yeah.
I don't want to live a life of ritual. No, I don't really like it at all. No, I just rather hang out with some really cool people. And,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. They wouldn't like me there. They, you know, they would secretly really like me.
But not officially.
But not officially. Mm. Well, because I'm not about structure. I'm about doing things because you know that you want to, you love to,
Mm-hmm.
and you know it's your part. But I'm not into imposing any structure on anybody. I want everyone, because I think the spiritual life is really a creative process, really creative. And where it's going to walk you down, you know, some of the forms that you've might have adopted are going to get in the way, and you're going to have to release them. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't see them as understanding that or being happy about that. I've had a lot of dreams about different people there.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I've helped a lot of people there internally, and and I don't know how they see me, but I don't really care. You know, everybody's set on the path they want. Don't you think?
Are they on the path that they want?
Yeah. Are they dreaming it, or you feel they're...
In Adidam?
Yeah.
No.
No, you don't feel they're dreaming?
No, it's...
They're not happy there?
No.
Oh, you don't? Well, I haven't been there, so... In a long, long time. So you don't feel anybody's happy there?
It's no place to congregate.
Mm-hmm.
It's how can you even connect
Yeah.
and feel the joy of the guru in good company?
Oh, see, that, to me, if that's what should be happening there, don't you think?
Well, yes, I do
Yeah,
think that.
I do. Why isn't it?
Because I don't know if I want to say on film right now what I really
Oh.
think about it.
Oh. I can always edit it out.
That's true. I mean, the real politics of Adidam is a valid discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you think it's based on the egoic structure?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, an unreconstructed egoic obstacle.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think they're settling for it?
So far, yeah. It seems like, yeah.
Well, maybe that's the best they can dream. Maybe they like some of those ideas. Maybe they... What don't you like mostly there?
The lack of ability to have an open dialogue about our issues.
Oh, okay.
And Adida gave notes where he asked us to create a global convocation, and a convocation of all devotees around the world, where all the issues that we have could be put on the table for everyone to see.
Yeah.
And so I've been advocating for the
Like
convocation.
a big dysfunctional family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we actually had some breakthroughs in Adidam. After Adida's death, we had two global youth retreats at the Mountain of Attention in the 2 summers after his death.
Mm-hmm.
And we had green tea ceremony all together with 200 or 300 people. And people got the chance to get up one at a time and say their confession of how they felt about Adida's death and their relationship with him in the present. And it was very healing because collectively we'd never processed his death.
Oh, really?
There's never been any real collective use of, say, the webinar to have people give their confessions or have a green tea ceremony on a regular basis face-to-face.
Mm-hmm.
And what I advocate is having green tea ceremonies for all devotees and having a convocation.
What do they feel about his death?
I don't know because we don't talk about it except for those 2 green tea ceremonies, and that was so cathartic.
What do people say?
That they're still feeling his presence.
Oh.
And
That's good.
yeah.
Not bad. Do you think that he has become more idealized after he died?
I actually see people waking up and responding to him in a real way,
Okay.
not just in an idealized way.
Oh, good. That's good.
Yeah, so and in my own life, I felt Adida's presence and siddhi to awaken me after he died. My real propulsion towards awakening happened from 2008 to 2013 after he died.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that Adida's potency is greater than ever.
Good. That's the very point, doesn't it? You don't need a body mind. Enlightenment doesn't need a body mind.
Well, I still rely on his body mind though all the time because I'm constantly looking at his murti. So I still.
Okay.
I still
So you talk to him?
Yeah, I talked to him, and I even
Does he talk back?
Literally, I don't know if you've seen the videos on my channel, YouTube channel, but I've gone to see my first ex-wife, Shira, who channels Adida.
Oh, yeah?
And so I've seen her about 5 times, and I ask Adida direct questions, and we put them on the video, and
Okay.
I've had a really remarkable conversation with him in that form.
That's good.
Yeah.
A god who's willing to talk to you. Wow.
It's totally great. And a goddess.
Goddess is willing to stay here.
The goddess is willing to stay alive here.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I just think this is a really remarkable success, that your awakening happened way back in 1985.
Mm-hmm.
You've been alive this long.
That was right before his divine emergence, you know.
Right before 1986, Adida's divine emergence.
1 month before.
Only 1 month.
Yeah.
So it's January for him and December for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in Adida's sacred history, his Param Guru was Durga. Was that you?
I've always had these strange dreams, and we've always helped each other. And some of the dreams, I would be an old woman helping him as a younger man. And sometimes I would be really young, and he'd be older helping me.
Mm.
So we always cross time.
You'd switch?
Yes, to help each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's remarkable.
It is.
That's astounding.
I know. I know.
It's just... When Adida had his awakening, he noticed new cities.
Mm-hmm.
And he was meditating all beings.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a similar new cities?
Mm-hmm. When I first met Pat, or any devotee I met in the earlier years, and this still happens, after I would meet them, the night I would dream all their lifetime.
Oh my God!
Yes, I would see them in all the versions of their lifetime. Mm-hmm. So.
What was that like?
It was, it was kind of, it's sort of like, you know, like a work manual in the sense, like if someone's, you know, years ago when I asked I had a dream, well, what am I supposed to do with my understanding in my life, and I met Vivekananda, and he gave me these books of all my art, and I looked at it, and I went, oh, okay. And so it's sort of like that. So all the dreams are like a manual of my life with this person, and what how I was going to serve them by knowing as much as I could about them.
Yeah.
So I would always, and I always know that that devotee would be in my circle because of that type of psychic interaction and connection that would show up. It would say, well, this person's going to be an essential part of your life. So that's how I knew. And some people I didn't have that, and they would just come and go. And but I had that with all the early people. Yeah. So that was some of the siddhas that would happen. I've always had siddhas with nature.
Like?
Nature I would always go to different places and have a different aspect of working with the consciousness of the earth, and had many journeys with that, and many met the grandfathers and the grandmothers and different beings that are attached to earth right now, and some of them have incarnated to be part of the new work.
Yeah.
So different work like that. Let's see. Always had the ability to dream really well. Just the ordinary ones, like if I was outside and doing a hike or doing work out there, it would never rain on me. I'd always wait till I got to the car. You remember that?
Oh, lots of times.
So in the early years, when I walked with her, we had like a very strange connection in the early years because it always would rain when I walked with her. But and myself or with other people, it would never rain on me. But with her, it always rained. So whenever we took a walk, we said, "Let's go for a walk." We want it to rain. So yes, go. Yeah, so different things, but I don't know. It's like having a computer, and you just have all these different effects and different things you can choose from.
Yeah.
So they're just kind of a natural way, a supplement to how to work and live what you're here to work and do. Like if you imagine trying to do a rock music before they had electric guitars
right.
and stuff like that, you know. So that's kind of a city. You know, you get all these cool things now.
It is.
It is.
Rock and roll guitar is a city for me.
Yeah. All right.
Just one more question.
Mm-hmm.
You've been writing a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and you've already got a lot of writing.
Mm-hmm.
How much writing do you have, and what is to become of it?
I don't. How much do I have?
It's a lot. It's hard to say.
Because Adi Da's a major prolific author.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just conspicuously gigantic amount of production. And he had an extraordinary production in the later years of his life.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 8 years of his life, even after what he terms divine translation.
Yeah. Yeah. He still read a lot and did a lot of art too.
And he said that no one had ever survived divine translation physically before. Mm-hmm. Did you have divine translation, or is that in your future, or is that...
What's your description of that?
Well, he had 4 stages of the 7th stage of life. Divine transfiguration, divine transformation, divine indifference, and divine translation. And he didn't have his divine translation until 2000 at Ruchiradam, at Lopez Island near Seattle. And it almost killed him. But he survived it, and then had this... the biggest flourishing of his artistic expression in his literary work and his image art.
Yeah, I would say that has occurred for me.
Yes?
Yeah, about 3 years ago. Because everything, I went through a big indifference phase. Then after that, it seemed like there was no point to actually sustain the vehicle anymore.
So death feeling?
Yeah. So it was like early 60s, it was like, okay, I'm done. And then at that point, certain things began to occur. The re-collaboration with Adi Da came back. My family came to live here, and certain things were set up for me. And at that time, I felt like this new way of living, of just living my already happiness, evidently. You know, just living it openly, evidently, and not being confined anymore by my compassion or empathy for other people. And I didn't know how that could happen, how I wouldn't be confined by that empathy anymore, but it has occurred, and I have been more artistically prolific since that time, too. And my stories are, I'm trying to redream and redirect all the best possibilities for everyone here in my stories, and let the revolution begin.
Yeah.
I wrote a sequel to The Wild West, and I'm writing a 3rd part to that one. Also, the one with Unified Field of Love, I worked with the feminine aspects of having them come to recognize the Durga.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I'm probably going to write more about that. So I'm redreaming and redirecting certain things right now. And I think they're I get to claim my own, you know, I've done all the work now, and I get to claim it and offer it very clearly and distinctly. I don't have to try to go join with someone and compromise with someone to get a certain aspect of the work done anymore. So I'm just here now, and it's very good.
Well, it sounds really good, actually.
It's really good.
Because this compound is lovely, your community, it's just, I love it.
Oh.
I love this place. And your art is just swinging.
Thanks.
Your literary work, and your family.
They were very nice, aren't they? They're great.
So you found a kind of balance and sustainability, perhaps.
Yeah.
And maybe even a post-divine translation like joyfulness or like happiness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's the best possible example.
Yes, his was to the ends of his life. He was very busy with his writing and art, but was not relatable in a happy sense with others. He didn't want to engage others anymore, and I feel like I can engage others, and
Yeah.
it's not an ego problem. You know, I don't feel like I have to enter into a compassionate depth with them and begin to take on the work of struggling with them and to help them anymore. I don't feel free of that. And I also just say, look, if you have love and passion for enlightenment, dream it. Go for it. There's no obstacle in the way. It's only your conditioning that says no. And why? Why is it saying no? And your life's your life, and it can be unique to you and really different, and doesn't have to look like any other spiritual aspirant. You don't try to emulate anybody to do it. You don't accept anybody else's rules. If they don't make any sense, it might seem like good advice. Try it.
Yeah.
You know, and then make it your own.
Right.
Everything should be made your own.
Ooh.
Yeah, everything's your own. We have such an idea in Fridas about that surrender and of the ego, and
Yeah.
watch out for the ego and self-guruing and all that. And it's just childish stuff. Every adult has to have that strength to take it up on your own.
Well,
What are you going to realize? That
What?
you're just going to realize your natural state, which is who he is.
yes.
This is his natural state. There's
Right.
no separation.
Right.
You don't have to be like him. You just have to be like you, but realize what he's realized.
Yeah.
It's the realization you're going for, and not the duplication of the life, or even the way. And what he established maybe worked at that time, but you're all saying it didn't work, so why continue it? If something didn't work, throw it out.
Well,
It doesn't throw his life's work away, because he is the realization, and that's what you're here. You have to get creative about it.
yeah.
What he taught, or what he suggested, or the role model he gave you didn't create the empowerment of anyone to wake up. It's okay. Get rid of it. It's fine.
Well, it's really nice.
You know, nobody knows what somebody did 50 years ago, and they could have invented the computer for us. We don't know anything about their life and what happened, and we just use it. We value it.
Right.
We don't have to stick to a form if it hasn't proven to actually work. There's no real form to anything. It's all being creative. It's all spontaneous. It's just happening. So he gathered with people, and he did all this spontaneous teaching, and then he creates spontaneous forms, and everybody's like, yeah, we're gonna get down to this, and but it's not really like that. Nothing's like that. You could get up tomorrow and write this like crazy song that you love, and you go, where'd that fuck come from?
Right.
I never know I could write something like that. And then you realize, like, I'm not really writing anything. It's all just kind of appearing, and because I want to participate, because I care about it, I have passion for it, it's happening. Yeah, that's how everything happens. Because you care about it, you want to participate in it, but there's no actual form that you do, and this is kind of a male idea. If you get the technique, if you get the form, it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
But that was just this wild experiment of hanging out with everybody and seeing what they could seem to get or wanted to respond to, but there was a bias in all of it, and the bias is the feminine aspect. None of the input from the women was actually there.
Mm-hmm.
All those years. It was totally a man's experiment there. And we're doing an experiment where I'm saying, okay, what is it to you to be a man? What is it to be a man and a woman? What is it for you? And what are you willing to do? And the possibility that there is an awakener, and that they have the transmission of awakening, like you can come into their presence and feel already happy.
Yes.
That's enough. The rest is up to you. That's enough. And Adida always said, you only have to see me.
Right, just mere
He's
sighting,
always said
simple
that.
sighting of him.
Yes. Yeah. So, if all the other stuff seems necessary to anybody, it's because they're not, the sighting of it, it's not full. It's not
the
deep.
recognition.
The recognition
yeah.
of their own enlightenment is not deep enough. So, you might as well create your own form then. You know, if you like to look at art and it really inspires you to do art, great. But if you look at art and you go, oh, that's nice, but you're not inspired to do it. Are you an artist? No. You know? So if you're not a spiritual aspect, if you're not inspired by the realizer, the awakening and the transmission of already happy, then what do you got? What are you going to do? You know? So, you know, you can stand with a hand in the air for 15 years, whatever, you know, stare at the mantra, you can do hatha yoga every day, you can eat raw food, you can eat meat, you can drink blood, whatever, I don't know. There's no real answer to any of that. There's no guarantee. And you want to copy my life, well, you have to get raped 3 times. So, you know. There's tragedy in everybody's life. There's suffering. How does that inform you? You know, and how does your passion for what's true inform you? And then create it. Create your path. You know, and I think Adidam is an experiment. I think most spiritual communities, they don't have a lot of people who wake up.
Not historically.
Not historically. No. So what are those people actually doing there? What do they want? What do you think?
They believe they're going to get awake, and they believe they're going to get something.
Yeah.
That'll make them happier.
Well, maybe they find a family that has similar beliefs. And
I think it's
like a good club.
Coziness, clubbiness, and
I think that's
security.
What it does have become a club, right?
Security club.
Club Fiji or whatever.
Club Fiji.
I hope they have a good time over there. And, you know, I could meet any of those people, and they're likable enough, and they're not going to impress me. You know, what are they going to impress me? How are they going to do it? Nobody can impress me.
Nobody can impress you.
No, I won't.
I mean, you've lived all these years awakened without flagging.
Yeah. So, what could anybody possibly do? So you can't come to the island. Well, so fucking what? Wherever I am is the sacred. Wherever I am, he's with me.
I would like to see you on Naitamba.
Yeah, well, if you, then you have to make it. That's your passion.
That's my passion.
And I always, you know, my devotees have different passions, and I say, if it involves me, and I say, well, let me see you do all the work.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, don't make me do the work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I would be just as happy if they wanted to come see me on Friday night.
I'm happy with that too. I think they should.
Yeah, so.
I would encourage that.
I would encourage that too, and if they have any questions.
They should make use of you. They should avail themselves of you. They should enjoy you.
And I have all the love and respect for Adida, but I have my own life in my own way. And we have survived his death. And I don't know what people have felt about that, but I think it, like the 2 roses that have fallen, they've fallen in a rich garden. And so they're going to always be what we have as our legacy and our happiness, our archetype, and our relationship. It's always going to be there for us. So.
Well, I want to thank you for being here to bring forward Meher Baba and Adida and your own realization and be as available as you are.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't think there's any way that you can be used up. If the people that come really love their enlightenment, they won't use me up. And if they don't, well, there's no form here, so how are you going to stick around?
Right. Yeah. That's kind of a
defense
mechanism almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no place to hide out and hang out and have your own little club. So,
right.
Yeah. So it's just really going to be based on your love and passion for your enlightenment, and that's what I honor in people, and that needs to be seen. I don't want to feel that anybody who comes is just an ego. You know? don't want to feel that way. I just want to feel that everyone comes as a lover of the sacred, and I just want to heart recognize them as that, and I don't want anybody to come and feel like they're a fuck up or anything. I want everyone to have the inspiration, happiness, and hope towards generating the best life they can, and if they love enlightenment, to have that life. And that's what I'm here for, and I don't think it's all that complicated. And we believe a dark myth about humankind, and I don't think it's really necessary.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's really necessary. I think there's people in the world who have different imprints who will come and be able to live it, and they might live quiet lives or, big lives. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. How it's going to play out for them. But well, thank you. I enjoyed it. And
thank you so much.
Yeah, so much.
Santosha.
Yes.
everyone's story is really interesting to me. Yeah. Their struggle and how they're, and I hope they go away feeling more inspired to overcome some of the obstacles. And if you do, you're going to feel very happy,
Yeah.
content. And you're going to look at all the earlier obstacles as, oh, that, but you'll get there. Everyone gets there. And I believe anybody who loves Adida is in a living relationship with him, whether they're in the Free-Das communion or not.
Right.
And he's in a living relationship with all beings anyways, and it doesn't matter. And that was a particular experiment that served a certain foundation for his life and work. But to have such a high value for it over against the heart of everyone else who loves Adida is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's always, the world always plays insider outsider game. But one thing I learned about that game is the people that are in the most inside, the most insecure, they feel always left out. They're the most insecure of all. So whoever loves him, he loves. And who doesn't, he loves anyways.
Right.
Because everyone has to get here one day where you realize your true self. And your true self can take any form. And if you look in the mirror, that's the form of it. You have to have the passion and the confidence and the strength to live that, to know that. And you can make a lot of mistakes and be an asshole at times is all right. Correct your mistakes.
Correct your mistakes, right.
Learn from them. So the women can testify there's been a lot of learning from mistakes over
Oh,
the years.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I think they're
Yeah.
pretty happier, humble crowd now, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you've given us so much.
That's good. It's good. It's a good time to be alive. It's unique.
This is the most amazing
Yeah.
time I've ever seen.
I think it is too. And you can watch the news and think it's the most dreadful, but it's also the most amazing too. It's very amazing.
Well, I hope you publish your new writings in books, physical books.
Mm-hmm.
I really like reading your stuff in physical books.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for telling me that. Well, if
That'd be good.
people were asking me to put in a book the stories I've written in the last year or so.
Yeah.
I was
Especially the new stuff.
I was thinking of calling it Beyond the Ego Stories.
Oh, that's one. They're an ego story. Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Alrighty.